It's a wonderful day today. It's Palm Sunday. And for all you Christians out there, you know what that means. That's the day our Savior, Christ, pretty much rode triumphantly, into the city, and people were, there was idolation, they were giving praise. And so it's a very big day. So I hope you went to church. I hope you gave your tithes. I hope you praised and worshiped. But happy Palm Sunday. It's wonderful to be here every Sunday, and I look forward to more and more. Let's see who has joined us. We're changing things a little bit here. I had cameras, all over the place. Now we just kind of streamlined it over here. But hello, my friends on YouTube, my Instagram friends. Hello there. Good to see you. It's good to see the guys on Facebook. We're going to give people some time to join. There's quite a few people over here, so we'll give people some time to join. But it's been a very interesting week. Did you guys hear about what I consider the news of the week? There is a ship that's stuck in this place in the Suez Canal. It's right outside the Mediterranean, and it's controlled pretty much by Egypt. And there's a bunch of countries, but it pretty much transports a huge part of our world trade around the world. And you're sending stuff from the Middle East, from Africa. You're sending stuff from Europe. It's pretty much is a gateway to the world. And this massive ship called Ever Given. Ever Given gets stuck, and Ever Given ain't giving a lot over here, but and it's holding things back. Pretty much 320 ships are on either side trying to get in or out. And that's a major center of trade around the world. It's a major transport hub. And so what's happened is hundreds, maybe tens, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars of cargo is stuck. And so let me give you a little tip. What happens is world trade has already been kind of stuck, right? Because, there's all this stimulus, all this money we're spending in Europe, we're spending in Africa, we're spending in Asia, we're spending in the US, North America to combat coronavirus. So a lot of people have cash on their hands. What are people doing with this cash? They're out there spending it. And what's going on now with the trade, the people who are supposed to bring us the things that we're supposed to be buying? It's been hard, by the way. It's been a supply chain has been clogged, and now this ship in the Suez Canal is holding back a lot of things, like toilet paper, like coffee, things like gasoline. So there's a good chance that over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you may not have a toilet paper and coffee the way you want it, or the prices may go up. So one piece of advice that's not financial advice, but that's good, good thinking. I would ask you to go buy toilet paper, maybe go buy some coffee, maybe go buy, some of the household things that you need for the next, I'd say, 3 weeks to a month. Because if you go to the stores, and those stores like Ralph's and Walmart, they need those things coming in from China, coming in from Asia, coming in from the Middle East. And if they don't come, we can't buy them. And so it's very, very important that, if you have the money, you've saved some money, go spend some money and buy some, things, some good of your supplies over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So it's really interesting that one ship can pretty much hold up our toilet paper and our coffee in America. So, it's amazing how the world is interconnected. So that was the news of the week that we're watching very closely, and it's affecting a lot of things. I mean, oil prices, Brent, which is the oil that's pretty much sold in Europe, is up almost 8% over the last 5 days since Wednesday, Thursday. The U.S., Western Texas Intermediate, is actually up also about 5%. So all prices are going up. Things are going up because of this one ship. So hang in there, my Palm Sunday friends. Okay. Hello there, Argy. I can see you. Darlene, welcome. Derek, it's good to see you. Good to see you guys. I see people are still You guys probably had a great Sunday brunch after church, so you're kind of streaming in slowly, but it's good. But I'll tell you what, though, last week we had almost 2,000 people view the show. We had almost 1,000 on Instagram, about 300 to 400 coming in and out here, and an equal amount on Facebook. We want 20,000 people. We want 40,000 people. How about 100,000? Some of the things I'm teaching you are really, really good things that'll help lift you from wherever you are, whether you're struggling, whether you're hanging in there, with this pandemic, whether you're doing okay but want to do better, even if you're doing well. I work with a very, very wealthy people, and I work with people who are not that wealthy, and I'm able to, help them one way or another to lift them up. So tell your friends and tell your family. Every show, make sure to bring 5 people and subscribe. There's a button right there. Click that subscribe button and make sure that you're subscribing so you get all the good stuff that I'm bringing. Today is a different type of show. You may remember this is a new series to pretty much help. And I've done 4 shows so far. The first was an introduction to many of the things I'll be talking about to teach you about how to build the very foundations of your finances. To build the financial literacy and to essentially help lift yourself out of where you are. The very basics. I talked about credit. I talked about getting a good bank. I talked about your emergency fund. And today, I want to change it up a little bit. And I'd like to answer your questions. There's no script. I didn't prepare anything. I didn't, like I usually do, I didn't put things, I didn't spend hours and hours putting things together for you. Today, I wanted to listen to you. And I wanted to see the things that were on your mind. And you told me. I got dozens and dozens and dozens of questions. I got so many questions that I could not answer. I am probably not going to be able to answer all those questions. So I apologize if I can't answer all those questions, right? Because there were just so many. There's so many people who need financial help. And if I can't finish them today, we're going to be doing this, I think, maybe once a month. Once a month, I'll just take questions. And I'll start taking, I asked you to send in your questions to Dave's Wealth Lessons at gmail.com. And many of you sent out those questions, and I appreciate it. So we're going to start talking. Now, for my friends on Instagram, please go over to YouTube because I can't see you. You're kind of far away. I can see my friends on YouTube. Hi, Natural Beauty. Good to see you. Ada, what's going on, Ada? Good to see you too. We are going to jump in. So please go to YouTube. I can see you. I can interact and make sure to subscribe. Now, Angela was one of the first people to send in a question, and she had a really good question. And here's her question. I'm a well-established 42-year-old woman. My husband is a truck driver, and we're thinking about starting a transportation company with about $15,000 to $20,000 from my retirement fund. Okay, typically I don't recommend that, but let's see what Angela is up to. My question is, do you think it is a good idea for me to borrow money from my 401k? The $15,000 to $20,000 is small compared to the total portfolio that I have, which is about $200,000. So I also told him that we're going to have to sign an agreement that the $15,000 to $20,000 is a loan to the business and it has to be paid back. Very good question. This is actually one of the questions I get asked the most. Should I take money out of my 401k if I need to redo my kitchen, if I need to redo my house, if I need to fix my car? What can I and can I not use my 401k funds for? So first of all, let's define a 401k. A 401k, well, you see, started in 1973 by Congress because Americans are very bad savers. We don't like to save. We like to spend. We like cars. We like houses. We like Gucci. We like good stuff. And so the government said, look, if you save, I will give you a great incentive. You don't have to pay any taxes. Not now. Later, yes, but not now. And every time that money grows, you don't have to pay any taxes on the gains. Normally, you have to pay taxes, right? You put money in the bank, they give you interest, you pay taxes. You buy a stock, you make interest or dividends, you pay taxes. But with the 401k, it's tax deferred and tax deductible. You don't pay any taxes until you take it out, so your money grows faster. It's protected from creditors. You can't get sued. However, if you touch the money before you're 59 and a half, apart from taking out a loan and or a hardship withdrawal, which we'll define another day, but those are ways you can take money out. If you don't do any of those two, and you pull the money out before you're 59 and a half years old, you're going to pay penalties plus taxes. So taxes plus a 10% IRS federal penalty. Some states actually tax you too. So the question then was, should I take money out of my 401k to invest in a business for my husband who is in the trucking business? Well, the answer normally I would give you, Angela, I'm sorry, is no. But don't go anywhere. Don't hang up now. I'm working. I'm getting there. The answer normally is no. Why? Because your 401k is a long-term investment that is for a long-term purpose, your retirement. You invest it in a way that is going to help you over the long term. Investing in a business today is a short-term cash need. So to take a long-term investment and use it for a short-term cash need is not the way financial planning is done. And it throws you a little bit off kilter. And so there's some other things that you should think about, right? If you don't pay your 401k, well, if you take that 401k loan out, when you pay that loan back, you're paying interest. You're paying it back to yourself, which is great. But that interest you're paying back is not tax deductible. Remember I told you the 401k is tax deductible? What that means is if you put in $10,000 in your 401k and your tax bracket is 30%, you're saving $3,000 this year. Your tax bracket minus $10,000. But when you're paying your 401k loan back, let's just say you're paying $100 a month. That money is not tax deductible. But here's the kicker. You're going to be taxed on that $100, even though it wasn't tax deductible today, when you take it out. So it's kind of like, how does that work? You're not going to give me a tax break now. You're going to tax me when I. So that's why a 401k, typically, 401k loans, we don't encourage them at all unless, Angela, how's that going to work? When you tell your husband, oh, I have $200,000 in my 401k, and I'm not even going to give you 8 or 10% of that money so you can invest for yourself to help you set up a business that you can help maybe use to help feed your family one day. How's he going to take it? And this is where I tend to focus not just on the monetary aspect of things, but on the human aspect of things. As a man, look, over the last, I'd say 25 to 30 years, we've seen a resurgence of women, the power of women. We have so many women today who are breadwinners. They get the same type of jobs. They do the same kind of jobs, and they have the same kind of capabilities, sometimes even better. Women are taking care of themselves now, and they're taking care of their home and their man in some cases, and their kids, including some of the women I work with, very special people. But for some men are sort of DNA. We want to be the man. We want to take care of our families. We want to be the breadwinner. And it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes the woman she just has, better education, more capabilities. She got a great job that she's good at, and she just rises above the man. So it helps to be a little bit sensitive to what that man is going through on an emotional basis. When his wife is the provider, he may feel sometimes a little bit left behind and not in control. So taking out, even though I don't normally recommend it, taking out 8 to 10% of your retirement assets and giving it to your husband as a loan, which is good, to help him start a business, which could eventually bring in income into your family, is a good thing. So, Angela, I wouldn't tell you not to do it. I would say, before you do it, however, think of it as a business. You're operating a business. So when you're thinking about going into a business and giving a loan to a business, what kind of things would you do? Well, there's a lot of things you do before you start a business. There are a few questions you have to ask yourself before you start a business, before he starts a business, because you don't just want to put in $15,000 or $20,000 in there, even though you made him sign for it. Well, what happens if he doesn't pay you back? What are you going to do? You sue your husband, sue your man? It's like, hey, Kevin, or whatever his name is, there's dinner on the left hand side, and that's your court summons on the right hand side. After dinner, read the court summons, and then meet me in court on Monday. How is that going to play out? So, despite that, it's better when a pound of prevention is better than an ounce of cure. Help him work to build a good business plan. What that means is you have to ask yourself a few questions before you start a business. One, why am I starting this business? Is it just because I lost my job and I want something to do? That's not a good reason. You have to be passionate about it. You have to understand the business. You have to have a competitive advantage. Why would I come to you? Why would I buy from you, not that other guy? Why would I hire you to transport my goods on your truck? What is the advantage? Are you cheaper? Are you better? Do you have more relationships? Who are my competitors? Who am I competing with? Am I just going into a field that's crowded with a lot of people where I'm going to have to keep dropping my price? Can this business make me money now and in the future? It is very, very important. How am I going to fund this business? So you give him $15,000 or $20,000. What if that money finishes after 3 months or 6 months? He he leases a truck, and maybe the business is not as good as it should be. Well, what happens? Another $20,000 from there? No, you have to build a plan. How much do we expect to come in over the next few months, over the next few years, and how much expenses are we going to have? What is the gap? How much do we need? So you have to plan before you start a business. So Angela, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea for you to give your husband or loan your husband, not give the $15,000 to $20,000. But if you have to, do it, but make sure you operate it like a business. Number two, Yvette asks a really good question. Hello there, Ada. I see you. I see you on there. It's a pleasure to see you. Sharon, it's a pleasure. Sharon, you don't have to be nervous to ask questions. I'm here. I'll take all your questions. Please don't be shy. Yvette asked a question. Hi, David. First of all, thank you for being humble enough to help us less knowledgeable people to be more money smart. Yvette, it's my pleasure and honor. This is why I do what I do. I am currently vested in my job with the federal government. I'm assuming that's a defined benefit pension plan, but we'll get there. I've been employed for 27 years, and now, few more years counting. I've been employed for 27 years, and now, with a few more years counting, I didn't quite understand that, but congratulations, 27 years. Most people don't stay on the job that long. And I continue. I've diversified my contributions and allocations. Wow, diversified portfolio. Good for you. I'm in a six-figure range. Are you serious? Good for you, Yvette. Making money, six figures. I'm also a single parent with two adult sons, and I own a brickstone in Chicago that is now paid off. All renovations were paid in cash. All right, I love to hear this, and I continue to do so because I do not want to have any debt as I enter retirement. I do have a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. I've maxed out my annual contributions for as many years as I can, and I plan to retire in 3 to 10 years. Please advise what I can do better. Wow, let me summarize Yvette's question. She's been working for 27 years for the government. She has her pension plan all set. She's okay. She's contributing to a Roth 401k and an IRA, and she's doing great. All she's wondering about is, what can I do better? And I love that type of question. There's two types of people: the ones who are trying to figure out how to get ahead, and the ones who are already there and who are figuring out just how to tweak things to make things better. Well, Yvette, you're doing good. You're doing a great job. Yeah, there's a few things that you may want to consider doing that I can tell you going forward. You have a defined benefit pension plan. What that means is you're going to get a check like Social Security every year. That's going to take care of your basic expenses, right? But you still need stuff. You want to travel, you want to, buy a new car. There might be some things you want to do. And that's where your IRA and your Roth IRA come in. Don't forget, You're over 50. I'm assuming you are. You've been working for 27 years and you're getting ready to retire. Don't forget that you can actually put in an additional $1,000 into your IRA and your 401k if you're over 50 years old. All right. And so you also may want to go ahead and open up a regular investment account, right? Just a regular brokerage account. Since you've already maxed out your tax deductible accounts, go to any place. You can go to fidelity.com, you can go to troprice.com, you can go to schwab.com, and you can open up an investment account. You can even go to the pacificgroup.com. You can actually open up an account through Betterment there. Open up an account for yourself, diversify your portfolio, which means stocks and bonds. Make sure you are not too aggressive, and it's taxable, but it's a really good account for you, separate from your qualified retirement accounts, for you to put money in to keep growing. Next question. Wow, there's so many really good questions over here. Let's see. Is trading Bitcoin safe? And can I make a lot of money buying it? Bitcoin. First of all, let's define what Bitcoin is. Angela, two people had that question, Angela and Princess Lamla. I like that name, Lamla. I like Angela too. Bitcoin is what I'd call it's a cryptocurrency that exists in digital format, which means you don't go out there and buy a piece of Bitcoin. It's on your computer. It's in cyberspace, right? And the unique thing about Bitcoin, unlike regular currency, it's a currency, but unlike regular currency, a central bank doesn't stand in the middle. Like the U.S. government issues dollars, right? We issue dollars, and so we control the supply and demand of dollars. With Bitcoin, there's nobody controlling it. What people do is there's these hundreds of thousands of computers around the world that do this thing called mining. What that means is they do these complicated mathematical formulas and functions to come up with additional Bitcoin. And then there's millions of peer-to-peer networks on the Bitcoin network that actually check to make sure they're valid. And so Bitcoin is held in a place called a wallet that's digital. It's all digital. It's all on your computer. And so it is something that it's really been amazing. It's changed a lot of the way we operate in the world, particularly the part of Bitcoin, the technology of Bitcoin called blockchain. But to your question, is Bitcoin safe? The answer is no, it's not. Unlike another commodity, a commodity like soybeans or cocoa that I can eat. I buy soybean, or we buy soybeans, or gold that I can wear as a neck chain, or copper that goes in my car. Bitcoin doesn't have any true value. It doesn't have any purpose beyond whatever the next person can pay for it. And so if the next person decides, you know what, I ain't got no money today, I want to pay 10% less, that's what you got. And if that person or those people decide things are good, we believe Bitcoin is good, Elon Musk, recommended Dogecoin and the thing went up. Why? Only because he said it. And so because of the fact that it goes up and down, not because of any real demand, only because of demand and supply, and it doesn't have any true value, it doesn't give you any dividends or interest, it's very speculative. And so you want to be very, very, very careful when you invest in Bitcoin. It's also subject to fraud. A lot of money launderers use it because there's no central regulation. Kidnappers use it. A lot of people who, cyber crimes, they steal the data on your computer and they ask you to pay rent or to pay a ransomware. They use Bitcoin. So I'd ask you to be very, very, very cautious in investing in Bitcoin. You should only invest in Bitcoin if you're knowledgeable, you know what you're doing, you're experienced, you've done it before, or you studied hard, even if it's your first time, you've learned the things you should be doing, and you should diversify. So even if you buy Bitcoin, it should be a small part of your portfolio. Let's take more questions. I like this. What's the best way to start saving for my kids' college? This one is very dear to my heart. And the reason why is because I've been working on this for many, many, many years. And it's interesting because I created a product to solve this very problem. But before I address that, let me talk about some of the ways you can save for college. The most most used way, or the way people save the most is through savings accounts. You could put your money in a savings account, making 0.48%, pretty much almost nothing, and the money grows by 0.48% over a period of time for your kids' college, and you're paying taxes on that 0.48%. Now, imagine a situation where you invest $1,000 and you're making $4.80. Well, that's one way to save for your kids' college, not necessarily the best way. The second way is a regular investment account. Just open up a stock and buy stocks and bonds. The problem there is you keep getting taxed on that money. Every time you make $10, you get taxed. So if you may make 10% on that $1,000, you make $100, you're at a 30% tax bracket, you got to pay $30. Then there's a 529 college education plan, which we love. Why? You don't pay any taxes as it grows. It's tax deferred, and if you use it for education, it's not taxed. It's non-taxable. It's protected from your creditors. You have all these investment options in there, and guess what? Some states actually give you a tax credit or a tax deduction. I think up to 30 states. As a matter of fact, we've set up a new program, a new way for you to invest in 529 plans. So I would encourage you to go to our to Suchi.com. That's the company I created about 2 years ago to help you save for education. The new way, you can actually invite your friends and family, your child. So instead of giving money on birthdays and holidays like Easter, why would you give money? Take the money you want to use and invest it in a 529 plan on a birthday. Why give toys? Invest that money in a college education plan for your child. So tell your friends and family. Suchi will help you do that. And so that's the best way that we know to invest in college plans. Let's see if we can take a couple more. Wow, these are some really good questions. Randar and Deborah asked the same kind of question. Randar asked, I retired early to be a caregiver for my mom. The company I work for doesn't offer 401k, so I opened up a Roth IRA to start a 401k. I opened up a Roth IRA and a 401k. What should I invest in with more gain and less loss? Deborah asks, what is a good interest account to put savings and retirement into? Well, I've talked about this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to go back to my old videos. First of all, make sure to subscribe. And if you're on Instagram, make sure to go to YouTube so you can see all my videos. Go all the way back to some of the videos I've made. I talked about investing. I talked about stocks and exchange traded funds. I talked about index funds. I actually even gave you the tricks, the industry tricks, how we pick good stocks. And I gave you some recommendations then. Those stocks have done well. Go back into some of the things I've recommended. Investments could be things that are really good to help elevate you and lift you out of where you are. But go back into some of my lessons and you'll see. Let's see. Maybe I love taking these questions. Maybe we'll do a lot more of these. CCS, I like that name. CCS. Hi, David. I'd like to know how to invest money to get a return without losing. Let me read that question again. Hi, David. I'd like to know how to invest money to get a return without losing. So, Cece, let me tell you something. When you find that investment that can make you a lot of money and you're not going to lose, let me know. I'll put money in with you. I'm kidding. I'm being silly. The truth is, the higher the return you expect, the higher the risk. That's just the way it works. The more risk you take, the more opportunity to make money. Some of the wealthiest people in the world are those people who are not afraid to take risk, but you have to understand your situation. So without knowing your own situation, how old you are, how much you're worth, what kind of debt you have, what kind of assets you have, when you plan to retire, whether you have dependents, I can't really give you advice because in many, many cases, this show that I do, I give very general advice. And I don't want you to take it specifics. Make sure to do your own research. If you have a financial advisor, contact her or contact him. So, to answer your question specifically, though, there's a wide degree of assets that you can invest in. And I've talked about this. I encourage you to go back, to 6 months, 9 months. You'll see they're all tagged in my YouTube page. The safest type of investment we know about in America is FDIC insured, and the most liquid, FDIC insured, say, CDs. The problem is CDs don't pay you anything. They pay you less than 0.5%. Why would you want 0.5% if it's a long-term investment? But it has very, very little to no risk. That's a CD. On the other hand, you have stocks. Those are much, much more risky, and they give you a higher rate of return. So the higher the risk, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. You have to understand your ability to handle risk. Go to our webpage, www.thepacificgroup.com, www.thepacificgroup.com. We have a lot of tools for you to read, and a lot of things to help you out there. So we're almost at the end. Actually, I think we're 4 minutes over. Should we cut the show now, or should we do one more? Should we stop the show, or should we do one more? I'll tell you what. Let me do one more, and this one is very interesting, right? And this one actually made me influenced my next 4 shows. This question. Sue Ann asked this question. She said, David, how do I buy a home if my credit score is under 700 and I have student loan debt of over $200,000? The student loan debt, I received about a dozen and a half questions on that. And so what I've decided to do is all of next month, starting next week, all through April, I'm going to give you the techniques, the tools, the structure, the processes to help you manage your student debt effectively. Ways for you to first avoid student debt. Why do you even have student debt? Well, that's a facetious question because I had student debt. But there's ways you can help your kids avoid student debt. I'm going to show you those ways. There's also ways for you to, if you have student debt, to have that debt forgiven by the government. Joe Biden is talking about forgiving up to $10,000. I think they should forgive all student debt. Many of those kids had no idea what they were getting into when they took out a mortgage at 18 years old and they didn't know. So it's passionate for me. And so I've decided all of April, I'm going to talk about 1, avoiding student debt. 2, if you have it, how to minimize it. 3, how to get loan forgiveness, how to get your loan forgiven over a 10-year period or even a little bit longer. The tricks and the little, all legal, but little legal loopholes that you can use. I'm going to teach you all the things that you need to get out of student debt if you already have it, and ways to whether it's refinancing, getting rid of it, and so on and so forth. There's something about, and there's actually a way for you to entirely get rid of your student debt. It's a painful way, but I'll show you that way also. So I'm going to do that all of April. And that question influenced me, but that question also has one more component. If my credit score is under 700, and of course you have student debt, so you don't have a lot of money to pay off your debt, how can you buy a home? Well, there's help for you, Suanne. There's help for you to be able to buy a home without high credit score and without a big down payment. And that's through the FHA, Federal Housing Authority. What the Federal Housing Authority does, or the institution, is a government institution that guarantees, you go to a bank, you want to get a loan, the government will guarantee that loan for you. It's for people with lower income, and you can actually get, if your credit score, you can actually get a 3.5%. Normally, down payment is 20%. You can get a 3.5% down payment loan if your credit is over 580. So even if you're under 700, there's hope. If your credit is under 580, she's pretty bad. We got to work on it. I gave you a lesson on credit 2 lessons ago. Please listen to that. Ways to improve your credit. You can, if your credit is between 500 and 579, you can get a 10% down payment through the FHA. You don't have to pay the 20%. Now, keep in mind that you have to pay mortgage insurance. So your cost is higher, but at least you can buy a home. Congratulations, Suanne. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my fellow brothers and sisters, we're at the end of the show. We're trying to keep this show short. We're over now by 8 minutes. We want to try to keep this show at 30 minutes. So, a couple of things. Next month, all of next month, I'm going to be giving you all the strategies and structures to eliminate the student debt you have, or reduce it, or get it deferred. Any number of strategies I'll show you. I'm also going to be talking about ways to avoid student debt, ways to avoid student loans. I'm also going to be talking about strategies and structures to get scholarships. Many people there's so many scholarships and grants out there. You don't apply for those things. There's tons of cash. You should start early applying for these things. There's lots of free money out there. Before you take out $1 of student loans, apply for all the income-based grants you have, scholarships, your skin color, your country of birth, your country of origin, your ethnicity. There's different, if you're black, if you're Asian, if you're from France, there's different scholarships available for different people. You just have to search for them. I'll show you where those are. Okay? So I'll see you next Tuesday. But please don't forget, make sure to bring 5 people next Sunday, because I'm really talking about some good things that are helpful for them. God bless you. Happy Palm Sunday. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.